In the wake of the Frontier Union's sudden conquest of Saravis, an impressed Kaito Hakim, supported by the notoriously obsequious Henrik de Barn, gave the order to countermand Arcelia Abascal's attempts to push west and catch up to Lemaire and Tandil, with her force instead being ordered to hold its position and maintain a prolonged siege of Axios from the Atamara side of the gate, punctuated by occasional raiding attacks through to the Axios system. This decision was very welcome to Lemaire and Tandil, who had hoped for precisely this outcome, but far less welcome to Abascal herself. Abascal's rage at being denied new opportunities for combat and plunder was exacerbated even further when Tandil decided to follow up his conquest of Saravis by attempting to swiftly secure the lightly defended Cardeus brink system, using only assets already within his reach, and requesting no Paleborn reinforcements. Tandil took advantage of the recently arrived support force under fleet leader Ida Lorato, who had initially been dispatched to assist in cleanup operations on and around Saravis Major. Keeping his own force in position at the Saravis Valeria gate and delaying his advance into the Valeria system for the moment, Tandil diverted Lorato's newly arrived force to Cardeus to launch their surprise attack. Meanwhile, the Centrum Assembly was in the opening stages of what would prove to be several weeks of a flailing and largely ineffectual reaction to the outbreak of war. Commodore Anthony Hadley's Force Southwest, now headquartered at the fortified naval port of Validar II, were denied the chance to counterattack Saravis on account of insufficient available forces. The overwhelming majority of the CDF was instead diverted to Axios to form the foundation of what would become known as the Axios Blockade, a gigantic string of squadrons and fortifications intended to keep the vicious Paleborn from inflicting another massacre on the populous system or beyond. The idea of a counterattack on Union home space, intended as a proportional response to their attacks on Axios and Saravis, was a popular notion in the Assembly Parliament and Admiralty, despite many experts considering the proposal to be deeply unwise. Available ships were scrabbled together to form a large enough force for such a counterattack should it proceed, though in the confusion of panicked debate, no specific target had even been decided yet. At the great shipyards of Keeper's Dance, a state of wartime production was put into effect, a decision not made since the days of Halpern's War. Production of warships was heavily accelerated, and designs began to be laid down for modern second and later first-rate ships of the line, though it would be some time before any such vessels saw service. As the gears of Centran bureaucracy turned with characteristic lethargy, Ida Lorato's force emerged through the Cardeus-Saravis drift lane. Lorato's squadron was only of moderate size, but as Tandil had predicted, they were met by only a confused jumble of coastal defense ships, brigs, and armed cutters, many of whom were not even aware of the recent fall of Saravis. One surprise to Lorato's force was the sudden appearance of the CSV Tiarella, a 120-year-old fourth-rate ship of the line that had spent the last several decades serving as the Cardeus Regional Museum of the CDF Discovery Service. Despite being barely able to maneuver or load its ancient guns with only a skeleton crew, the Tiarella was nevertheless the only Centran ship present that actually succeeded in destroying a Union vessel before being quickly left no choice but to strike their colours. At the cost of one Indria-class outrider, the Union force destroyed 2 CDF vessels and disabled one other before the Centran force signalled its surrender and brought the brief action to a close. Once more, as per Devin Tandil's standing orders, the captured prisoners were treated with tremendous courtesy and soon ransomed back to the Assembly. At 6 bells on the morning of the 28th of Equinox 291 PCU, the red flag of the Frontier Union was raised over the agricultural colony of Aiden's Prospect, and the Cardeus Brink system fell under Union control. The extensive scientific infrastructure in the system was largely disregarded by the Union as outside of their needs, but the Aiden's Prospect colony itself was a huge boon for their cause on account of its extensive food production capacity and supply of valuable cattle. In addition, several CDF ships captured during the attack were recommissioned into Union service and distributed between various militia squadrons. Predictably, the fall of Cardeus Brink only fanned the flames of the existing panic and discord amidst the Assembly Parliament and Admiralty. Vice Admiral Delilah Moret is selected to lead the impending counterattack on Union space, which still lacks a specific target, and only a sparse few ships can be spared to reinforce Force Southwest in the Valeria system, who seem certain to be the next target of the Union's advance. Among the vessels marked to join Force Southwest is the newly commissioned CSV Vanquisher, a Confiance-class frigate recently completed at Fairfax Ravelin Wharf in the Axios system, and awaiting the arrival of its first commander, the newly gazetted Post Captain Ariana Hawker. Thank you for watching. You can get the Sojourn through various distributors, all of which are accessible through www.thesojournaudiodrama.com. You can also get the series through Patreon, where you'll be able to access various bonus features, including our visual dictionary, Guinevere cross-sections, and anthology shorts. Remember to join us on Discord and get regular updates on all upcoming Sojourn releases. All the related links can be found below this video.